Hey there folks, it's Joey here. I just wanted to record this video. I apologize for not getting this review out sooner, and I promised this review for people on Facebook. But finally I have my review of the original Clash of the Titans. Now this was a movie I first watched back in high school, actually. I remember liking it then a lot, because when you're in high school you think it's like so cool to like Greek mythology, which it is, but like when you're younger you're like, yeah, that's the coolest thing ever, I feel so intelligent. But this movie is well known because it has a remake, and that remake has a sequel, and this film was the last film with the special effects supervision of Mr. Ray Harryhausen, who passed away last year and really could be considered the master of stop motion. I mean, anywhere from Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Jason and the Argonauts, the Sinbad movies. He's made a lot of famous creatures, to say the least. And this was one of his last films, and some of his most impressive effects and sequences are in this movie. Now, let me talk about the characters first. Characters aren't really that interesting. I mean, this is about, like, Perseus trying to, defeat the Kraken and all that stuff. And prove himself. And he's put by Harry Hamlin, and he's fine enough. He's a good-looking dude in the movie. And he gets that part done. And, you have the Princess Andromeda. I forgot the actress's name, but, she's a princess. So in that sense, it's not really, like, oh my god, complicated. Of course, you have Burgess Meredith in this movie, who plays kind of like a poet, and he's kind of like an Obi-Wan sort of figure. Again, this movie's kind of ripping off of Star Wars in the sense that, Star Wars is a big hit, so they have to, copy things. And then you have Bubo, the mechanical owl, which is like Star Wars. But in terms of actors, you have Laurence Olivier in this movie as Zeus, and yeah, he's good. And Maggie Smith, in my opinion, is the best performance in the whole movie. She steals the show. It's like, she's as like a wrath that, it's pretty intimidating in the movie. And that's all I really have to say about the acting. Now, the visual stuff is really cool. You have like the giant vulture that like carries off Andromeda every night to Calibos. Calibos is like this monster. And he's played by an actor, but in the scenes where it's like a long shot, it's played by a stop motion figure animated by Harryhausen and his technicians. And trying to think of other creatures. You have the two-headed wolf, Bubo, of course. The Pegasus I really love. Now, I remember some of my friends were like asking, why is the Pegasus running in the air? Well, here's the thing with flying horses in movies. There is no existing reference for a quadrupedal flying animal. There isn't. It just doesn't exist. You have six-legged and not four-legged. You have two-legged. You don't have anything that's four-legged in nature that's like that. So, similar to The Thief of Baghdad, you kind of have it like running in the air. And that, in a sense, is a fair representation. I thought the Pegasus scenes were well done here. And actually, they're one of the few things in the remake that I really liked. The Pegasus stuff in the remake was awesome. Everything else was crap in that movie. And you have the Kraken, of course. I know it seems like he is the biggest monster, and he is impressive to see him, especially since, they use at least three different models for him. They have one that's like 3 feet long, another one that's like a giant bust, and then another one that was like 15 feet long that would swim. And even though you don't always see like a shot of the entire Kraken, you still get a pretty good idea of what the Kraken looks like. You can't say the same thing for the remake. The remake is just this giant CGI blob. That's really depressing for me to say. Then you have Medusa. The Medusa scene in this movie is like the most impressive scene in the whole movie. It's such a suspenseful and like tense scene that I was genuinely on the edge of my seat while watching this, and I showed this to my brother's friends, and they were genuinely captivated. You show these things to young people, you get worried whether or not they'll gravitate towards it. And yeah, they had problems with it, but no more than my problems with it. And They agreed that in a lot of ways it is better than the remake, because the remake, the creatures are too slick. What do I mean by that? Well, Medusa in the remake is very fast. Like, she's like, which is not as it is not as tense or scary as the Medusa in the Harryhausen film, where it's like a very nice like shadows and like lit fire, and the Medusa is actually scary in that one. She doesn't have a very attractive face, and whereas in the remake it's pretty sexy, for the most part. I mean, except for the snakes in the hair, and you turn to stone if you look at her. So that's all I really have to say about this movie. I mean, it's a really solid fantasy film from the 80s. Really nice showcase of Harryhausen's talents. Also, do I have it right next to me? No, I don't. But I'll be reviewing some of his other films. I've bought a box set on the internet of Ray Harryhausen's like fantasy films, like with like Jason and the Argonauts. I'm revisiting that, and I'm also checking out for the first time the Sinbad movies. I'm very excited to see those. And yeah, that's all I really have to say for myself today. I'll see you guys later.